Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Got some excitement going on here within 2-3 blocks of me. Today I'm going to cover this fire, a little bit about the traffic around the fire. Going to stop in and show you some jumbo fish and some more food at the London Cafe, and going to cover a few items about how travel is loosening up here a little bit in this part of the Philippines. This White Knight Hotel, I've done a video there in the past, and it used to be called Mango Square Hotel, I think. Anyway, this was a couple days after the flood that I did a video about on the street just out there, Mango Avenue. And anyway, this was might be a barangay, a village tanod, somebody directing traffic out there, and they're having some trouble getting, because of all the smoke in that area. They're having some trouble getting to the fire. What I've read later is that it started in the kitchen, and don't know if they were open or not. But anyway, I heard a lot of sirens going on for a long time, and I finally went out on the balcony to check and see what was going on. Of course, Mango Square, Mango Avenue area, going over towards Ayala, is a very busy street, so there's a lot of traffic being diverted around and a lot of confusion about what's going on there. And that is Mango Avenue out there. Maxalone, I think is another name, the official name for it. A lot of people call it Mango. Mango Square's down to the left. Oh, let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 blocks or so. Well within walking distance from where I live, and the different traffic enforcers out there trying to get people turned around in the directions they need to go anyway. Traffic enforcement here is much different than many parts of the world, and you don't see a lot of police cars or police motorbikes out pulling people over, giving tickets. You see traffic enforcers standing out in the middle of the road occasionally. We don't have very many, almost no stop signs, very few stoplights still in Cebu, Mandaue City area. And they will occasionally have checkpoints where they will be pulling over motorbikes to see if they have license, registration, checking cars sometimes, or you can see a little bit of the smoke over there. But not the number of tickets you see in America anyway. Now that is the jumbo piece of cod. That's a lot of fish.
For a rather jumbo guy.
That was my second trip down there to the Cafe London, and went down, in fact was invited down. Phil's to Phoenix. He's got a YouTube channel. He just came to town, married to Cindy, John and Cindy, and they were headed south a couple hours to see the parents, and looking for land down south of CDO and Mindanao. Anyway, he's got a pretty interesting channel. Had a couple videos about his travels here, some of his issues and challenges along the way, so you might want to check him out. Phil's to Phoenix on YouTube. You have mentioned that you've made the trip down to Cafe London down there on Ascario Street, close to the Capitol. There again, after I did the video about the place, I was down there on grand opening, and good report so far. And somebody asked about parking. There is parking on the left side there of the building back in there, and I'm not sure if there's a little bit of a fee or not, but they've got parking. You can get back in there and go from there. Anyway, they had flown in from Phoenix, Arizona, USA, and they were staying at the Park Lane Hotel, very close to Ayala Center Mall, which is one of the approved quarantine facilities. They took their PCR tests, and they had to stay there for, I think, 2 or 3 days waiting for their tests. They got their negative tests, and the next morning, in fact, they were purchasing a multi-cab from a Toyota operation, and they weren't allowed to drive it south, even though they paid cash, they had all the registration information. They were not allowed to drive it south the 2 hours to the parents. They had to hire a driver, and they rode along. So Is that, well, no comment. If anything, you would think it would put more people at risk having a third person along, but gives employment to somebody, gives somebody some extra cash, I guess. Anyway, they had made a number of trips to the Philippines, so familiar with the area. And about the travel, they're starting to loosen up travel here in Cebu, different parts of the Philippines. I think they're finding that the limited travel wasn't bringing in many people, and I'm going to predict that things are going to open up faster than what was originally stated, which is the second half of next year. And I'm going to suggest that there are more and more scientists and doctors pushing back against this lockdown that is doing much more damage than the virus. And the fact that they need to get the economy starting back up. Domestic tourism just isn't going to do it. And anyway, I've read a couple of clips, a couple of articles on Facebook and different news, and they're saying, for instance, Bantayan Island up on the north, a very popular destination. I've been up there, done a number of videos up there, that it is open for tourists with no age limit. I think you still have to have a test before you go up there, PCR test showing you're negative. You need to have a face mask, a face shield, and a personal air purifier, which I think do absolutely nothing. Hang it around your neck, and the chances of it protecting anyway. So I think even with those requirements, the test costs you 5,000 pesos, $100. The air purifier costs you 1, 2, 3,000 pesos, 20, 40, $60, something like that. Transportation up there, different barangays can have their own rules, so you could have issues. You might, from what I've heard in the past, you need a letter from the PNP, the Philippine National Police, giving you authorization to travel, so that's a hassle, getting all that type of thing. And then at the same time, the government's come out and said, well, we've changed the age limit. Anybody under 15 years old and over 65. Used to be 21 and 60. You were supposed to stay locked in your house. Now they widened that gap. But Bantayan Island and Cebu province saying, oh no, there is no age limit. So there's conflicting information out there. So I'm not going to make any statements really, except tell you what I've read and heard until I get more clarification on that type of thing. But there are hundreds, maybe thousands of expats still in Cebu who would love to travel and spend some money if the restrictions and if it's not such a hassle to travel. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.